She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. We are all so very blessed that you decided to join us today. Hey, does your health have anything to do with your success? It's a good question, isn't it? Does it really matter if you take care of yourself? What do you think? I have recently found, and you maybe have been hearing me talk about this, that, I just kind of let myself go for the last couple of years. Not like totally let myself go, but according to my standards, right? And I found that being self-disciplined, which is something that I practiced for a lot of years of my life, we decided I'm going to eat with my husband. Whew, my jeans were not happy with me. Neither were pretty much everything in my closet wasn't happy with me. And then I started to toy with the idea that, hey, it doesn't really matter. I'm getting older, Bottom line was I noticed that my self-discipline had gone out the window, not just with food, but it started to go out the window with other things as well. And then what I really noticed is I started to feel more tired. I started to feel, I started to kind of lose that edge. I started to lose passion. I started to just kind of get ho-hum about a lot of things. Have you ever been in that place? Maybe it has to do with the food you're eating. I know it had to do with the food I was eating, that's for sure. I found myself wanting to sleep more, wanting to sleep longer. And I found that my thinking was not as clear as well. And, it's so funny is my husband complains about things like that, but he doesn't always change the way he eats. So recently I decided I need to lose weight. I'm going to get serious about this. And I've dropped 14 pounds and I'm excited about that. And it's not come off overnight, which I don't know how I feel about that. And the reason why it hasn't come off overnight is because I am an idiot in that this is what I've done. Okay, so I eat really good Monday through Friday, and then there is the weekend, right? Every Friday night, we have a big celebration, Shabbat, where the whole family's over, plus a few friends, and it's about 18 people. I mean, that's a small party for us, but it's about 18 people, and I make fresh, homemade challah every single Friday night, not one, but two. They're this big, okay? They're about 6 inches high and about 18 inches long. I make 2 of these. It's beautiful braided bread that makes the best French toast the next morning. Okay? And we just have this huge spread, okay? Just, different cheeses and olives and wine and, just really good food, right? And then the next night is my date night with my husband. And of course, he likes for us to, go out to eat. And then, of course, they ask you if you want dessert and, the salads that are on the menu is like 1,000 calories, right? So then here's the first night where you blow it. Here's the second night, and then it's Sunday, right? And on Sunday, what do you do? So I found myself, and then there's my sister that came to town, and my dad came and stayed for a month. And, it's the first time my sister had ever been in my house, and we made tamales. We just went crazy, and I took her to the favorite places to eat, and so here I would lose the weight I gained on the weekends. I went, I guess I found a great weight management program. Eat really good 5 days a week or 4 days a week. And then those other days, just, Well, then I finally get upset with myself. In fact, it was April 25th. Where I'm done. I have to make it through the first weekend. And I did. And I was like, I have to make it through the first date night. And then I did. You see, the first weekend I was out of town, so it made it easier to stick to my plan. So I managed to lose 14 pounds, and I did that in about a month's time, which is not fast at all. It's, probably around where it should be, sort of. Anyway, for healthy. And then, so I reached this goal, and my stomach is flat again. I'm fitting in my jeans. I'm feeling good. I can see, some kind of definition of my arms, even though I don't work out. That's just because my body fat's going down. And then the timing of today's show could not be more perfect, friend, is what I'm telling you. It couldn't be more perfect. I literally sit down in the studio. I take a look at the content and go, because I just blew it last weekend. I totally blew it. I blew it Friday night and I blew it Saturday. Yesterday I did a little bit better, but I did have a root beer float. But I still was within the quantity of, let's say, caloric count that I should have been. It was a small root beer float, but I still hit my goal. Anyway, but now I need to lose the 2 or 3 pounds that I gained on Friday and Saturday night. So the timing couldn't be more perfect. So let me ask you a question. Are you one of those, like Mahatma Gandhi, which, by the way, I love that man's story. He says, it is health that is real wealth, not pieces of gold and silver. You see, when you don't have your health, you've heard this before, when you don't have your health, you don't have anything, right? There's a recent Gallup poll found that 51% of the adults American adults want to lose weight, but only 25% say that they are seriously working towards that goal. We have one of our clients, longtime faithful client for the last 10 years she's been with us. Her name is Carmen O'Quinn. And she's actually been competing in a weight loss story. And we're going to get her on the show. We have to get her on the show. She's lost 160 pounds in 13 months. This is a girl who was never, ever going to lose weight. She just didn't care. She just did not care about losing weight at all. And all of a sudden, a year and a half ago, she just went, I'm going to do this. And she did it. And to be honest with you, it's been about a year, I think, that she's had it off or close to it. Yeah, it has been a year. When I saw her for the first time after she lost 160 pounds, I just was like, that's not her. I mean, I could have passed her on the street and not have known that it was her because that's how different she looks. She's an itty bitty, tiny little thing. And she did it very, very healthy. And so I've been applying some of the things that she did. We're going to get her on the show because her story is just amazing. Yeah, we have to get her on the show. In fact, maybe we'll get her on the show right away. Anyway, but there's a lot of people who say they want to lose weight, and then there's some that don't care about losing weight, and there's some that try some very expensive ways to do it, and then there's the failure. I started in the weight loss business 25 years ago, so weight loss has been like a part of my life for the last 25 years, and I've used food to maintain a size 6. Even when I gain 20 pounds, I'm still in the size 6. That's what I was busting out of. I rather the size 6 be loose than what it was 2 months ago, that's for sure. Anyway, so we're talking about weight loss. And so I want to talk to you about you. What is your number one challenge with losing weight and hitting that goal? So let's help each other, okay? Because you're accountability for me today. That's the bottom line. So we're going to Mike Haney from York, Pennsylvania. Mike, where are you at on this, idea of health being true wealth instead of gold and silver? And, are you one of those like me that needs to trim down another 10 pounds?
I need about 30 pounds, honestly.
Dude, can you believe that you have 30 pounds to lose? Like, did you ever think that would ever happen to you?
Never in a million years.
Right? What happened?
I want to give the excuse of life, but it's an excuse.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean, life? How does life get in the way of your health goals?
I had a couple kids. And
Wait a second. Mike, you are a man.
Okay. My ex-wife had a couple of kids, and I ate when she ate. I got pregnant. She had the baby. I had the food baby.
Isn't it crazy that, because right now I have one of my daughters that's pregnant. That's where the root beer float came from. She has this thing. She goes, Mom, you want to hear my worst idea of the day? I don't think I want to hear your worst idea of the day. The next time she comes to me with that, I'm going to say, no, keep your worst idea to yourself. It is very dangerous that I am trying to lose another 10 pounds and you don't have the same goal. All right. So you're saying that when your wife got pregnant, you chose to eat along with her.
Yes.
And bam, here's 30 pounds.
Absolutely.
So what are you going to do about it?
Starting to make smarter choices. I'm actually at the grocery store right now buying fruits and vegetables.
Nice. What are you buying?
Fruits and vegetables.
Oh, okay. Stay away from the middle of the store.
I'm trying.
No, don't. No, dude. Come on, Yoda's going to talk to you. There is no try. There's just do.
Yep. Only do or do not.
Exactly. All right, so you got to shop the perimeter, the outside of the grocery store. That's where everything is alive. Yes.
I can do that.
Fruits and vegetables, the meats, the cheeses, right? All the healthy food, stay out of the middle. What's in the middle? Bad stuff. Soda's in the middle. Packaged foods is in the middle. Chips, those kettle barbecue chips are in the middle.
Now I'm salivating. Stop.
Ice cream is in the middle. Tater tots are in the middle. I'm not being a good friend right now, am I?
You are.
Macaroni and cheese.
I left that section. I'm in the kids section.
Good job. No, that's where the mac and cheese is. Get out of there. Mac and cheese. I have chills right now. Look, my hair is standing up on my arm. I swear. I wish the camera would zoom in and get this. But I just said mac and cheese, Mike, and my hair on my legs. Well, I don't have any hair on my legs, but the little thingies, the follicles, whatever they are. I shaved yesterday. Anyway, so it's all standing up because of mac and cheese. Look at my unhealthy relationship with food.
Oh, man.
I love mac and cheese, but it has to be the kind you have to make. And you know what? Kraft is now making organic macaroni and cheese.
See, that makes it want to be healthy.
But they're lying. It's still bad for you. Even though it says organic. Even though it says organic, it still means you shouldn't eat it. All right. So you're trying to make healthier choices.
Yeah.
Okay. I have to tell you about something that I found. First of all, do you have a goal?
I do have a goal.
Okay.
Lots of them.
Lots of them. Okay, but you have one concerning your health.
I do. I want to be more healthy because my daughter's 5 and she's starting to get into sports and I want to be able to help her train. So
yeah,
kind of my why is set in front of me.
You don't want to be the chubby beer gut dad?
No.
Okay. Do you have a picture of yourself of what you used to look like 30 pounds ago that you want to get back to?
Yeah, and it looks good.
Look how proud you were of yourself. Here, you're so proud of what you were then, and you didn't think anything of it back then. Isn't that sad?
Yeah, it is.
You know why that is? Is that when you don't appreciate what you have, you will not protect it. You will not safeguard it, and you will not care and maintain it. When you don't appreciate what you have, you will lose the blessing that you already have. And that's how we all start. Is that I remember when I was in high school, I thought I was fat. Dude, I was not. I had a 6-pack on my stomach. I was ripped head to toe. And when I began to see myself the way my stepdad used to speak to me, I saw myself fat. Now here it came. And now I had this insulation on top of that beautiful muscular structure that I had because I was a basketball player. So I insulated myself with, about 3 inches all over my entire body of fat on top of it because I began to see myself as he spoke of me instead of seeing the truth of what I had. And I didn't appreciate what I had, so I lost what I had. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue this conversation right after this.
Are you failing at being a loser? When we come back, Dani will share one important thing you must have if you want to lose weight. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success. Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what families are dealing with in the poverty-stricken village of Santa Pancha, Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic food, water, and housing needs. We are transforming that village. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation to Santa Pancha. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org.
Prior to getting started with DaniJohnson.com and First Steps to Success, We were spending absolutely every dime that we made. We were really struggling financially. Since plugging in to First Steps to Success just 4 months ago, we started a brand new business that is doing very, very well. We've paid off $4,500 in debt, but the most important thing is my relationship with my husband has improved like dramatically. I mean, we have so much more fun together. You know, I don't know about you, maybe your finances, you're doing great, maybe you're debt-free, maybe your relationships with your spouse, with your family are great. But if not, if you have some areas in your life that feel a little out of control or there's things that you need to work on, I highly recommend getting to First Steps to Success as soon as you can.
Prior to being dragged out to First Steps to Success, I was hopeless. I had no point to life. It was a day-to-day existence, working a job I despised for people I didn't respect. Deeper and deeper debt every year. You just couldn't get on top of it. I just had no hopes or dreams, none at all, and there was no point to life. But since coming out, we paid off $280,000 worth of debt, married the woman of my dreams. I came to love my job and the people I work for. I have all kinds of hopes and dreams. I get to watch them happen every day. I don't know what your life is like, you know. There's probably tons of hope. You probably know why you live and you got places you're going, but if you don't, you need to sign up for First Steps to Success. You go to DaniJohnson.com and you click on it and be here, because your life will not be the same if you do.
Prior to First Steps to Success, I was drowning in debt. I was terrified of my bills, and I wanted to travel, but I never had the money. And since coming to First Steps to Success, in the last 14 months, I've paid off over $18,000 in debt. I've gone on 6 vacations, and I'm not terrified of my bills anymore. So if you want to learn some proven strategies to really learn how to connect with people, take your life to the next level, all while having a total blast, you need to get registered for the next First Steps to Success today.
Prior to coming to First Step to Success, we were totally struggling, totally under the weight of $640,000 worth of debt, making $20,000 a month, but living paycheck to paycheck. So when we came here and I realized that it takes a totally different skill set to keep money, to create wealth than it is to make money, I have totally turned around our lifestyle. We have paid off $640,000 worth of debt in 2 years. We are debt-free as of June of 2013. I don't know where you're at. You might have all your finances in order. You might have a wonderful life. Your marriage might be all perfect and your kids are behaving. But if not, if one of those things is lacking, you gotta get here. Book your next event. You need to be here. You will not regret it.
In your face and in your corner. You've never had a coach like this before. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
What you don't appreciate, you'll lose because you'll not put time into maintaining it. We're talking about that body you used to have that you wished you had, wished you could go back to it. I got Mike Haney on the phone from York, Pennsylvania. He said he gained 30 pounds when his wife was pregnant with the 2 babies. He gained the pregnancy belly along with her, and now he wants to go back to what that was. So we're talking about that we have to have a goal, right, Mike? We have to have a goal. And when there's a definite purpose, then you got to have a plan. And so you said you're at the grocery store right now, staying away from the middle.
Yep.
Step away from the macaroni and cheese.
Doing good.
Go for the healthy living food. That's part of your plan. But what's some other things that are in your plan?
As far as health goals,
Yeah.
just completely being a little more active. Since Dynasty, I stopped watching TV completely, other than just my training videos as far as like Time Secrets and Improving the Next Gen. Not watching TV. So I'm staying more active.
That's
not sitting on
awesome.
my tush, lazy guy stuff.
Mike, how old are you?
34.
34. Wow. Okay, now isn't it so interesting how we can start a habit in our life that also aids in us gaining weight, which is watching television? Yeah. So watching television actually causes us to lose muscle, gain weight, and buy things we don't need. So I'm really proud of you that that was another part of your plan. So when you say to get more active, what are you doing to get more active?
Obviously, while not watching TV, I'm actually up more in the kitchen, helping out around the house more, spending more time with the kids, running around playing with them, jumping on trampoline, just not being just by the flame of the TV.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
I got hit hard at Dynasty with idolatry, and I can give you movie quotes from the 50s, but I can barely give you 5 quotes from the Bible. Hit me hard.
Wow. Okay, wow. So if you've just joined us, I've got Mike on the line. He's a client of ours. Creating a Dynasty is what he's talking about. That's our advanced leadership conference. And he's saying that since Dynasty, which just is a short while ago, he made some huge changes in his life. Dude, that's huge. That, yeah, you could quote movie, what do you call that? Movie scripts.
Yep.
But can't quote scripture.
Yeah, that hurt. That was a very wide open, hey, you need to come back to me.
Yes. Wow. That is incredible. That was a revelation you personally had, because I don't think I said that from the stage.
All you said was check where your gods are. Check what are you idolatizing? What are you putting before him? And that hit me hard.
Wow. So now it sounds
playing the music of like all the songs we do back in the day.
Yes.
All I could think of was like I could tell you every single movie line from Cary Grant to something that I watched a month ago. I can even give you 3 verses from the Bible.
Wow. Wow. So entertainment was your God.
Yep.
Wow. So you've turned off the television, and now you're spending time with your family.
Yep. I actually sold 2 of them.
Yes.
It's a major war on debt last weekend. So 2 TVs went, Xboxes, or whatever. It's gone. There's 1 television, 1 video for my movies or for like my training videos. That's it.
My gosh, I'm so proud of you. I'm blown away. Okay, so Mike, how has this now improved? Because it's just been a few weeks. What has happened with your relationship with your kids? You're actually on the trampoline with the kids. You're involved with their life.
They're giving me all kinds of kudos, like, "Oh, you're so much fun," and we love you, Dad, stuff like that. I'm gonna choke up here.
How does that feel, Mike, for your kids to know their dad now?
Yep, feels good.
Man. Okay, and you're helping around the house. Check this out. You ready for a stat? Here's something. Okay, so I got this thing that actually tracks my steps, right? I started, that's one of the things I got to help me set goals and stuff like that. So yesterday, I cleaned my house for several hours, okay? I went crazy cleaning my house. Do you know that I burned 1,100 calories cleaning my house?
Wow.
1,100 calories in 4.5 hours of cleaning my house.
That's a lot.
That's a ton. And mind you, that's how I've maintained my weight all my years, is because I clean my own house. I do my own cooking. Do you know what I mean? I've always done that kind of stuff. But when I look back, I'm like, that's why I've been able to stay a size 6, is because part of my activity, even though I don't work out, which I'm attempting to do that now, walking, jogging, I'm starting to do that now. I realized that, wow, part of my weight maintenance program was cooking dinner and cleaning the house. Now, if I would have realized that I was burning all those calories all those years, I would not have griped that my husband wasn't helping. It was actually a gift. He's the one that got the gut, and I didn't. So last night I told him, I said, I burned 1,100 calories cleaning the house. He's like, dang. I said, yeah. I took like 9,000 steps too, cleaning the house. So yes, you're welcome. But this was a gift for me too. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
Be sure to tell a friend about the Dani Johnson Show. It just might be the key to the breakthrough they need. Stay right here for more of the Dani Johnson Show.
This is your chance. This is your shot. Get your copy of War on Debt right now. There's one waiting for you that has your family's name on it. And inside that package is freedom. Your freedom, your family's freedom is on the inside of that package. All you have to do is open it up, press play, and start applying what I teach you in this program. 888-757-8880. You and I are going to help your family become completely debt-free in the next 5 to 7 years. Just imagine how that's going to feel.
My name is Mario Johns. I'm from Scranton, Pennsylvania. And I just want to share with you on April 14, 2013, that was the first day I heard the name Dani Johnson. And I was so inspired by her story, and I just had to find out, how did she go from homeless to millionaire? And it was just so inspiring to me. So I went on DaniJohnson.com, and I started getting the daily emails, the daily fixes. And then after a while, I just stopped reading them for some reason. And August of 2013, it was 4 days before my first event. After work, I went on YouTube, and I typed in Dani Johnson's name, came to my mind, so I typed it in on YouTube, and I sat at my kitchen table for about an hour and just listened to testimonial after testimonial. And I was just so inspired. I'm like, I have to get to this first steps to success. And I had no money. I didn't know how I was going to get there. The funny thing was, a week prior to this day, I got a credit card in the mail that I never asked for. It was a $1,200 credit limit. I was going to cut it up, but I figured I'd save it for like the emergency. I got my event ticket, my flight, and my hotel room. I maxed that sucker out, and I came down to Dallas, Texas. And the first 3 hours of the first day, I was just like in tears the whole time. I was just so blown away. It was something that I was just so hungry for. And prior to plugging in, I was a depressed, hopeless, suicidal drug addict. I hated myself. I hated life. I hated other people. I felt like a slave to debt, and I actually accepted debt as part of my life. I had toxic relationships, and I was, and then since plugging in, I've been drug-free for 15 and a half months now. I paid off over $13,000 worth of debt in a little over 13 months. I've completely restored my relationships with my family, my friends. I have amazing friends today from around the world. I love my life, and this is just an honor to be up on this stage. But if I just want to say, if you're new here, one thing that I wish I did is one of my favorite products is War on Debt, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't been following that as like I should be. My first event, if I got War on Debt and followed that with diligence, today I'd be debt free. So I just want to encourage you, if you're new here and you have debt, I highly recommend getting that, because that's by the end of this year I want to be debt free, and that's my goal. So please help me welcome back to the stage America's favorite millionaire, Dani Johnson.
So what is success? A big house? A big title? A big fat paycheck? Dani Johnson has had them all, and you need to hear what she discovered when she had them. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Dani, I've always been overweight, and my family's overweight, and my grandparents are overweight. It's just a generational thing. It's just a genetic thing. It's just the way it is. And I've just learned to accept that this is my life. Friend, do you realize that's exactly how I was? It's exactly how I was. My mother was 280 pounds. Both my sisters were 300 pounds. The man that I thought was my father was 350 pounds. And when I looked at that structure, and here I was, and I believed I was fat and ugly as my stepfather had told me my whole life, and I started to get that way because that's how I saw myself. I saw myself through the lens of somebody else who had a heart that was hurting, and they buried their hurts and their pain with food. And I started to accept that this would be my body, this would be my life. And it doesn't have to be that way for you. So if that's your excuse, it's time to confront that. Just because that's the way things have been done in the past doesn't mean that it has to be for the future. You're in control of what goes in your mouth. You're in control with how much activity you actually do on a daily basis. You're in control of your physical body. You're in control of your health, and your health is real wealth. It determines how much time you spend with your family. It determines really how you feel about yourself in the marketplace. It determines also where you spend money, whether you're throwing it in the trash along with food, or that you are actually learning to build financial wealth because of self-discipline, self-control, and having a plan. So today I want to talk to you about something that's so important and so powerful. You see, the greatest success book ever written has one of the most powerful quotes where it says the entire success book really all boils down to two things, two concepts, two important principles. Number one, love God with all your heart, with all your strength, with all your soul, and all your might. And love your neighbor as yourself. If you don't love yourself, I'm not saying worshiping yourself, but if you don't love yourself, you'll not take care of yourself. In fact, you'll invite things like becoming addicted to entertainment, as we just heard Mike give that story, where he was ignoring his family, gained 30 pounds. He had like all the video games and he could quote movies from 50 years ago, but he couldn't quote 3 scriptures. He realized he's neglecting his family for his addiction to entertainment. His God became entertainment, even though he said his real God was the one true God. So much humility to be able to confess something like that. So when we hold up our truth higher than the truth, which is we're supposed to love our neighbor as ourself, which means we're supposed to care for ourselves. Are you caring for yourself? Let me say that again. Are you caring for yourself? Or are you destroying yourself with GMOs, with entertainment? Are you destroying yourself with junk food, drive-thrus, Starbucks? Are you destroying your health, which puts a crazy amount of pressure on your friends and your family members that are around you? What are you doing with this physical body that you've been given, which is a gift? What are you doing? How are you treating you? How do you talk to you? What stands in your way of you hitting your goals, your health goals? We've got Dani Webb from Arizona. Dani, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Thanks, Dani.
Hi. So what gets in your way of your health goals?
Occasionally it's cravings. Yeah, that and excuses.
Yeah.
Recently, I've refocused. So, well, first of all, congratulations on losing 14 pounds.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
But recently, I've refocused and recentered myself to commit to, just getting back to the basics with myself.
Mm-hmm.
And not making excuses and pushing away cravings, mind deterrent. If I find that I'm craving something, it could be food or if I crave alcohol or a cigarette, anything
Right.
that your body craves that, the devil's trying to knock on that door and say, come on, you need this.
Mm-hmm.
My go-to is prayer, because that's
awesome.
going to be the first thing that drives him away.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, and, and just going back to my why I committed to a better health and a better me.
Yep.
You know.
So what is your goal?
Bottom line, my goal is honestly just to be the best role model that I can, not only to my children and my family, but to those around me.
Okay, but Dani, that is a very ambiguous goal.
It is.
Nothing becomes dynamic until it becomes specific. So what happens that when we don't have a very specific definiteness of purpose, what happens is it opens the door for excuses and cravings. So when something becomes very crystallized, that's when you achieve the goal. So let me give you an example. About 6-8 months ago, I decided that I want to look better at 50 than I did at 40. And I know what my weight was at 40. And so I know what I want to get to. And again, I can gain 25 pounds and still wear the same size clothes. They just don't look the same. Clothes don't look the same.
Right.
So, so one of mine is like a no way, never going to do is allow myself to go up in a size. So my clothes have been kind of an accountability for me, right? Mm-hmm. That's one of them. But one of the things that I decided is I want to look better at 50 than I did at 40. Okay, so I've been looking up and becoming very, very specific. So right away, I looked up, and my daughter Christina is the one who inspired me to do this, is that you have to have a goal. She's lost 100 pounds. And you have to have some visual effects for that goal. And so I decided, what do I want my body fat to be, right? I want to get my body fat down to 18%. I'm at 22% right now. So, but I was 26% when I started. So I want to get it down to 18%, which is super low for someone that's 50 years old. That's really super low. So then I Googled and looked, okay, 50-year-old women with 18% body fat, or just 50-year-old fit women. What do they look like? I'm like, dang, they look better than 20-year-olds, right? So then I don't know if you saw this video, Dani, of an 82-year-old woman, probably a great-grandmother, 82 years old, and she is a competitive bodybuilder.
Yes, I know the video.
That, has spoken to me. There it is. That's my goal. Yeah. 82, I'm going to look like that.
Yeah.
Seeing the way she moves. She's got a six-pack on her stomach. Her arms are ripped. There she is in a bikini, a French-cut bikini on a stage. What? At 82? Now, mind you, she's of African descent, so of course, her skin doesn't crack. She doesn't get wrinkles. I am confident that my skin's not going to look like that at 82. But if my body looks like that at 82, hello, I will be sporting that two-piece bikini. Right. No question at 82. So I'm imagining, you can just see the glistening in her eyes, and the self-discipline that video was showing, right? She gets up at 2:30 in the morning. She starts with her prayers, and she teaches classes for old people.
Right.
And those old people are probably 62. So, and I have other role models and inspirations too. My husband's grandfather ran his first marathon at 72 years old. And he's completely fit. He's going to be 90 this year. And so that's inspirational. So you got to have something very specific, Dani, because when you have something very specific, it keeps excuses at bay. And then here's another thing. Once you come up with that very specific visual, that goal, then it's come up with a very specific plan, and then find where your weaknesses is. So when is it that you have the cravings? You see, I found my weakness. My weakness is the weekend. My weakness is Shabbat. My weaknesses are parties. My weekends are celebrations. Because in your head, you're like, oh, it's someone's birthday. I have to have a cake.
There's an excuse for everything.
Right. And so what I notice is there's birthdays all the time.
There's going to be something all the time.
Always. And there's always something to celebrate. And I'm one of those celebratory eaters. So there's always something to celebrate. It's like, yay, we're going to have some wine. We're going to have a big dessert. We're going to have 7 desserts. Oh, we're going to have a feast. And so I found that was my place of absolute weakness. So what I want you to analyze with you is go back and look wait a second. What provokes the want for the cigarette or the alcohol or the food cravings? What is provoking that? Where is my point of weakness? And then what it is now that's the new goal right there. I'm going to make it through this first time of weakness. I'm going to make it through the craving for the cigarette or the alcohol or the whatever. If I could just make it, just like me, if I could just get through my first weekend of not screwing up.
Right.
And then it was I'm going to make it through the next weekend of not screwing up.
Right.
That's where the 14 pounds came off, because I now had momentum versus gain and lose, gain and lose, gain and lose. So really identify that in you, okay? So,
I actually...
hold on one second. We got to cut to a quick break, okay? This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
Coming up next on The Dani Johnson Show, Dani explains the difference between a weight loss goal that will fail and a goal that will succeed.
This is your chance. This is your shot. Get your copy of War on Debt right now. There's one waiting for you that has your family's name on it. And inside that package is freedom, your family's freedom. is on the inside of that package. All you have to do is open it up, press play, and start applying what I teach you in this program. 888-757-8880. You and I are going to help your family become completely debt-free in the next 5 to 7 years. Just imagine how that's going to feel.
Prior to getting to Dani Johnson's First Steps to Success, my husband and I were completely broke. We just filed bankruptcy. We lost our home to foreclosure and we were on food stamps. After the second day of her event, we figured out where all our money was going. We got ourselves out of debt in 3 months. We paid off $18,000 worth of debt and are completely debt-free. And now we've finally created a life of our dreams. We've made a 6-figure business and we're just doing everything that we want. So if you're thinking about coming to First Steps to Success, you've got to make it happen. Sign up right now and make sure you don't miss it.
Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, I was hopelessly lost in addiction. My relationships with people, coworkers, family, friends failed. I was struggling under the bondage of debt and I had no clear vision or purpose for my life. After attaining my first steps to success, I've been able to pay off $7,000 in debt in about 4.5 months. I have a clear vision and purpose for my life. I can honestly say that my addictions are a thing of the past. If you're interested in changing your life in whatever way, in whatever area, you need to log into DaniJohnson.com and you need to be at the next First Steps to Success.
Prior to coming to First Steps, I was miserable. I never talked to people because I thought I was shy, I thought I was boring, and I thought that I was destined to be alone forever. After coming to First Steps to Success, I broke through all of those lies. I built confidence and I used the skills that I've learned there to get myself an amazing job where I will be put quickly into a position of leadership. So if you're ready to find out who you are, why you are the way you are, and how to get new skills to dramatically change your life, you need to join me at the very next First Steps to Success. No excuses, no delays, get registered now.
Hi, my name is Paul. I'm from Massachusetts. And before plugging into DaniJohnson.com, I was buried under a sea of self-doubt, fear, and my communication skills were non-existent. Sales non-existent as well. But after attending First Steps to Success, my sales have quadrupled, my fear has been lifted, and my relationships are better than ever because I communicate better than ever. If you want your life to turn around, all your dreams start coming to fruition, you are going to be at First Steps to Success.
Prior to plugging in to Dani Johnson, my husband and I were drowning in a sea of debt. I had broken relationships all around me of the ones that I cared most about, and I had started a company that was losing more money than it was making. And after plugging into Dani Johnson, we have paid off $196,000 in 13 months. My company has grown 90%, and I have relationships that I could never have even imagined with the ones I care most about around me. So I don't know about you, maybe you're making all the money you need to, maybe you're doing great, maybe your relationships are phenomenal, but if they're not, I encourage you to get to the next First Steps to Success.
The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success.
It's time to take on a whole new mindset. And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
So what's your place of weakness that causes you to fall down? Quit trying to ignore it. Instead, identify it. And once you identify it, then you can clobber that sucker. And you can even prepare yourself in advance to succeed against it. Joining me, Dani Webb from Arizona. We're talking about the goal of better health and better exercise. We're talking about vision. that it's important to have a very definite, very specific goal, like this video that has climbed all over the social media arena of an 82-year-old grandma who is a competitive bodybuilder, number one. She looks amazing. She looks like she's in her 40s, not 82. That's one of my goals. Like not that I want to be a competitive bodybuilder, but I want to look great at 82. I don't want to look like 82 looks, where I've seen it look most of my life that I've seen 82. I've never seen someone like that person. Dani and I were also talking about identifying our weaknesses. So Dani, what causes you, what happens? You see, there's something that provokes the craving. Do you understand? There's something that provokes the craving, and that's what you have to identify, is what provokes my craving.
Honestly, I think for me, my cravings have subsided quite a bit. I actually did make, and I didn't touch on this the first part of our conversation, I did make a very specific goal for myself, and that was at the age of 42 to run my first marathon with my husband.
There you go. Nice.
So
that's a very specific thing.
I was very focused and learned in the training process more about my body at 42 years old than I had ever known before. Reaching that goal, I became extremely disciplined. Found out what worked for me, what didn't, as far as foods. And, now that we've obtained that goal, I've set a new one.
Good job.
So my cravings really are, honestly, yes, they come and go, but they really are like the hard cravings are a thing of the past because it's something that I never want to go back to.
Yeah.
I'm just I know I said that it just being the best version of myself and a role model, but honestly, I want to be, that is a long-term, like forever goal is to be the best version of myself. I'm always going to make smaller goals to obtain, hit and then move on, hit and then move on.
Yes. But it has to be so specific, and like you said, like running your first marathon at 42, right? That was a very specific thing, and then you back it out week by week by week. Okay, what has to change in order for me to run a marathon? I need to change the way I'm eating. I have to change what I'm doing physically with myself every single day. I got to cut some things out of my life that are not helping me get to this goal. And I'm so proud of you. Congratulations that you did that, and it's forever identifying and really dwindling it down and making it very, very specific. When a goal is ambiguous, it does not inspire us to reach past the excuses or to reach past our cravings, if you will. Good job, Dani. I'm so very proud of you. Congratulations on that marathon, and congratulations on the next thing that you're working on as well. And thanks for that input. We got Cherie Dickerson from Johnson City, Tennessee. What about you? What seems to jump in your way?
Hi, Dani. Thank you so much for having me on the show today.
Yes. So what about you?
Well, I don't actually have a plan in place when temptation hits. I seem to have gained and lost the same 7 to 10 pounds in the past 15 years. Yeah. I have found that.
No, wait. I have to repeat this to you because it's so funny. Look at your phrase. It's so cute. Okay. I don't know why it struck me as funny because I've said the same stupid thing, right? I have somehow gained and lost the same 7 to 10 pounds over the last 10 to 15 years. It's like it's the same 7 to 10 pounds. It's so true, but like when you look at it, it's like I keep finding the same ones. They're not a different 7 to 10 pounds. It's the same stuff. I took it off and I put it right back on again. Don't you hate that? It's like bad habits.
Yeah.
Okay, so what causes you to gain it back?
Well, I think that a lot of it has to do with after listening to everyone else, is my coffee addiction and not eating breakfast. And so therefore, my metabolism is shot. I won't even eat till 12 or 1 o'clock and realize,
whoops,
I didn't even eat today.
Yep.
My adrenal glands are absolutely shot.
Yep. And then when do you finally eat? Do you sometimes go past 1 o'clock and go, well, I'm actually not hungry?
Yes, I have actually went to work all day, 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I might be slightly hungry, get home at 4 o'clock and realize that I didn't eat because I was drinking coffee all day. It never even crossed my mind to even eat because I was too busy.
Okay, listen to me, Cherie. This is important. Could you imagine starving a child?
That's, to me, unthinkable.
Right? Could you imagine giving the child caffeine instead of food?
No.
Could you imagine expecting that child to perform at an optimal emotional, mental, spiritual, and physical rate on nothing?
They would
but
not.
coffee? They wouldn't, would they? So, my daughter, how can you treat yourself like that? Because you are his child. And you are purposely starving the child's body. Purposely starving. Causing the body to feed off its own protein, its own blood, its own bones, which then causes future health problems. I think your Father in heaven is asking you to care for you. This has to stop.
Yes, it does.
You wouldn't think to starve another human being, but somehow it's
No.
okay to starve you. Something's not quite right with that equation. You are not a priority in your life. And you've done what many have done. You allow your size and comparing your size to other people's sizes. And Cherie, you and I have been on the planet long enough to watch a lot of sizes grow, multiply, but you're still small. So if my clothes fit okay, then I'm okay. I can abuse myself, starve myself, because at least I'm still this size. Got to change your goal. It's not about the size. It's about caring for you, loving you. You see, he gave you you, and you are the only governor over that physical territory. You're it. So just as you wouldn't starve another human, but you would feed and care for it and love it, it's time to do the same for yourself. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
What multimillionaire do you know that volunteers their time to help ordinary people like you and me? There's only one. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
My name is Chelsea Drinkard. I am 25 years old and from Tampa, Florida. And like most college students, I was a recent college graduate, got my first big corporate America job that we were told we were supposed to do. But I had a problem. Within the first couple weeks, I found myself crying every single day after work. I thought I was going to get fired. I was on a path to financial destruction, and I had no idea how to communicate with my family or my boss. Within the very first 6 months of plugging into DaniJohnson.com, War on Debt, and First Steps to Success, I annihilated $2,500 and weird pause. I also increased my value so much by applying First Steps to Success and what you're about to learn right now, gems, that I was offered a promotion and I received a 10% increase in my pay. When I did decide to leave, the business, I became so valuable. The CEO pulled me aside into his office for a private one-on-one meeting asking me what they could do to keep me. Not only that, since then, I've just started through War in Debt. I'm hosting War in Debt weekly classes. I'm facilitating War in Debt webinars. I'm living life by design, not by default, like the rest of my other friends who are stuck in debt in their 20s. And not only that, I'm going to Thailand for the 3rd time this November. I'm working with women and children rescued from the sex trafficking. So I don't know about you, but all I know is if you want to have better relationships with your friends and family, you want to increase your value at your work, you want to expand and grow your business, get more done in less time, I urge you, sit on your seats, pull out your pen and paper, turn off your phone, lean forward and hold on to every single word that Dani says, because this will change your life.
In your face and in your corner. You've never had a coach like this before. And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
How do you treat you? Are you doing a good job in that department? Are you caring for yourself? Or have you just said forget it? Your health is really important. Joining me now, Stephanie Player from Michigan. Stephanie, how do you break free from the rut of not having good health goals?
Hi, Dani. This is Stephanie. Thank you for the opportunity to be on the call. I think listening not only to you share, but everyone else, the way that I'm going to break through my rut is learning to care for myself better, learning to love myself. I know what the right thing is to do, but I make excuses. I don't make myself a priority.
Yeah.
And this is why I continue to fall back in that same rut. Yeah. And spiritually, I know it's a battle, and I know that food is my addiction. It's the biggest area that the devil tempts me in. It's a battle with my family, and I just need to set healthy boundaries for my life and for my children and my husband, and start getting out there and doing what I know is right.
Yes.
So I think really this call has helped me to see that. It's not about somebody else's journey.
Mm-hmm.
I can't compare myself to what somebody else is doing. And I have to love myself and do what's best for me.
Yes. And loving yourself certainly doesn't mean worshiping yourself, but it means caring for yourself. You care for your husband, you care for your children. But when you don't care for you, you can't possibly care for them as well. It becomes unbalanced. It becomes toxic. And this is why we have to, both mothers and fathers, all human beings, need to make sure and see themselves as a child of God. And how we care for our own children, we should be caring for His child the same way, with the same care and thought and discipline and focus and determination, with the same self-control. I hope that today you enjoyed this program. If it has helped you in any way, please contact us. If you go to DaniJohnson.com, you'll see it is a tab that says Watch. That's actually where today's show is. Right at the very bottom of the show, you'll see where comments are being left right there. And please join us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter under Dani Johnson Live. That's one N and an I, Dani Johnson Live. We'd love to connect with you. We'd love to hear about what's going on in your life. We'd love to know if you have any questions, anything that we could help you with, or to kind of point you in the right direction, or maybe just to pray for you. Because sometimes, hey, we're only human. We don't have all the right answers. Please also, if this is your first time joining us, come on over and get your free gift. We have First Steps to Wealth right here. It's how I went from homeless to millionaire, who now gives millions of dollars away to the extreme poor. First Steps to Wealth, we have a free copy available for you. You can find it on the website or call the office. God bless you, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Did you hear that last segment? Do you know someone else who needs to hear it? Go to DaniJohnson.com, find today's show, and share it online. This has been the Dani Johnson Show. Join us every weekday at 7 a.m. for more insights that will help you get to the life you've always wanted.